Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Singh and in this video we shall discuss current affairs for today, 9th of May 2022. And before we begin, let me welcome all of you here. Hello, Bhavani, Kriti, Amlan, Ashish, welcome to all of you. Thank you for writing these answers. Efforts will definitely pay off. And yes, all of you, hawk, dove and pigeons, keep supporting each other's. Great, let's begin this. What do we have today? That is the first thing that we have today is the quote of the day. Sometimes we are tested not to show our weaknesses, but to discover our strength. Yes, this is absolutely true. There are many times that we face challenges, but those are the challenges which let us understand who we are, to explore the possibilities and those intricacies which we had not known until then. And that is the reason that whenever there is a challenge in life, we should not look at it from perspective of some negativity, something that we cannot achieve, something we cannot do. We should look at the possibilities and seek support from everybody else around us who can help us conquer that kind of issue. And that is the reason that the challenges, the tests that we face, they are only the stepping stones to what we become in future. We will understand this in today's case study as well, and in most of the articles would present the same story for individual, for a state, for the government, for an institution, each of them. So let's not give up and let's keep continuing striving for success. All right. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments and shares. And let's get on to understand what are we going to quickly ponder over today. We will look at the monetary policy changes and how they are very significant for India and how they are different from what is happening in another country. Very important, extremely important. VPN rules which have been amended by CERT in Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. All three schemes have covered 7 years. So we will understand that quickly. Rules for interstate arrest. There was some chaos between Delhi, Haryana and Punjab police. We will not understand the chaos as much as we will understand what is the rules for interstate arrest, because policing is a state subject. Heat waves and humidity. Is there a connection? Yes, there is a connection. We will understand. La Nina also quickly. Rakhi Gadi as one of the Harappan sites where a lot of intense activity is happening. So cyclone Ashani, can you please type in the comment section where it is due to falling? And Shigella bacteria in news from Kerala, and the case of the weightlifter, 49 kilo weightlifter, 18 years of age, and we'll understand that case study as well today. Let's start. See, we understood this monetary policy changes last week itself. But then a lot of significant discussion is happening around what is the reason for this change. Because this change did not happen during the usual times when the Monetary Policy Committee would meet in the bi-monthly review, right? It happened in April first week, it would happen in June again. But why would they change this in the middle of the 2 months and not even giving an explanation for the change? Whenever RBI makes a change during the times of monetary policy review, it also tells what is its projection for inflation. And right now they did not share any projection, and after 2 random years they say that they have changed the monetary policy rates. So what has been the reason? There it has drawn a lot of speculation from around the corners of the country and abroad, and that's how we will understand what is happening in the economy right now. See, all the changes, and we have covered this partly in the editorial for today as well. So do look at the editorial, it is an important one. Now, the issues that relate to India's inflation, supply side constraints, COVID or the war, all of that war started in February end, and inflation started a long back, right? The wholesale price index inflation, it is in 2 digits for the last 12 months. And not to just mention what is happening in the supply side constraints because of COVID happening for more than 2 years, right? But then why suddenly has RBI come up with these kind of changes? Now this is where high inflation, crude prices, input costs, food prices, normalization of economy, reversing of quantitative easing, sab to tha pehle se. To achanak se why? So this is what has raised the question, and people are speculating what could be the possible reasons. Okay. So first of all, what is the impact on people? Suppose it has raised the stakes everywhere, the interest rate. So repo rate, the cost of lending will rise, the bank rate will rise, right? So when the banks are lending from RBI and the people are lending from banks, all the rates will rise. So cost of taking loan will be high. When people are not able to take loan for businesses or consumption, then the consumption also will be low. Lesser liquidity in the market. Ye sab to we know na. Returns for depositors, lesser employment, all this is an impact. But the actual reason that could have actually led to this inflation in India is supply side constraint. It is not as much as demand side. That means if supply side and demand side, here are people, consumers, here the inflation level is 7%, right? But supply side constraint inflation is about 13% and over a year sustained. So we have seen demand side inflation absolutely for people, yes, CPI, but supply side constraints have been irking the whole country for quite a while, right? And this is sometime or the other will get translated into demand side inflation as well. Now this, in comparison to what is happening all around the world, for example USA, the inflation there is not supply side. There are fewer supply side constraints as there is a demand, a huge demand in the market. So we'll understand the impact by comparing both the economies. A very, very important perspective to understand here. All right. So let's do this. See, when you see American economy, I have showed to you a number of times what has happened to Indian economy, right? So the inflation at WPI sustained high, the inflation at CPI low and then high and low. This has been the situation and touching all 6% plus. But in American scenario, the inflation has touched 8.5% from approximately 1 to 2%. 1 to 2% was the inflation levels for 4 decades. And this level of inflation was only in the early 80s. Imagine this. So what is the cause of this? And how is it different from India? Because see, both the central banks, the Federal Reserve of America and the RBI, both of them hiked their policy rates at the same time. In fact, India hiked at the time where it was hinted that America will hike the rates. So that is the hint. Both of them hiked the rate at the same time. And what is the impact? We should understand that. It's a very important thing. And this is the kind of question that is asked in UPSC prelim examination related to exchange rate, etc. Now, when USA says that inflation rate is high in the country and it needs further consolidation also because it had enough of expansionary policy of the dollar, then it needed to consolidate this. And the Central Bank of USA said that, okay, we will raise the interest rates of the central bank by 0.5%, 50 basis points. So there will be consolidation in the American market and money from all around the world will start pouring in the American banks, especially the Central Bank of America, because lending rates are the higher, no? That's why. Now, when dollar is scarce in the whole world and it is getting poured in the American bank, then the rupee will be what? Will it appreciate or depreciate? It will depreciate. The value of rupee will decrease. See, in the open market, there will be more rupee money present as compared to the dollars. And this will lead to depreciation of rupees. In fact, today itself, the news is Indian rupee has touched all-time low, 77 point, if you could mention, I think 5.2 or something. This is the rate at which the exchange rate is present as of date. And there are factors contributing to this. Now, when the exchange rate, if the money would have been sucked out of market, if dollar would have been sucked, there would have been more presence of Indian rupee, and this would have led to a lot of constraints in the Indian scenario also. What are the constraints? See, in the external sector, what happens is if there is depreciation of rupee, it leads to more export. Are we export centric or import centric? We want to export more, but largely we are in an import driven economy because of fuel prices. 1/3 of what we import is fuel itself. So when we are importing a lot, this will further escalate the prices of import if there is depreciation in the economy. And to avoid a thing like this, India said, we will also suck out the money from the economy so that both of them are almost at balance. This is one of the ways it does it. RBI does it. RBI also keeps changing this, the exchange rate with the help of maintaining some foreign exchange reserves in the market. Whenever it feels that the rupee is depreciating, it will immediately suck in some rupee and put in the dollars back in the market. So that is what RBI did at that particular time. Did not disclose what it did, but this is what the experts suggest. Now, understanding that America also is going through inflation. I showed you 8.5% right now. India is also going through inflation, but both of them are different in nature. The level of resilience of economy is different. The employment level in both the economies is different. The level of comfort towards inflation is different. So let us quickly understand what is the situation. See, in India, the issue is that the consumption still is low. America, the consumption is not low. In America, there is a huge demand from the people, huge demand. So because of this demand, the inflation is rising in America. But if you consider what is happening in India, the demand is low from the people and the inflation is supply side. Be it food products that we import, be it the oil that we import, be it the supply chain components that we import, and the whole price, everything is related to the supply side in India, but in America this is consumption related, right? So one important difference. So while we call this as cost push inflation in India, cost push, the idea that the cost is rising, can we control it by having monetary policy? No, we actually cannot do it. But RBI is left alone here. The government should have used some fiscal strategies, for example, reducing the taxation, removing the supply side bottlenecks, transiting to cleaner fuel sources, having better ways in which we could cultivate food crops which were to be imported. These were the requirements. Now RBI is going ahead with the monetary policy tool. Now what happens through this is they suck out money and there will be lesser money available with people. If lesser money is available, then jobs will be lost. And let us understand the job scenario in India. See, in India, the joblessness in India is at a high of 30 to 40 to 50 years, high of that much. On the other hand, America is going through inflation, but America is possibly at the best situation as compared to the joblessness. Why? Because for every person who is unemployed in America, there are 2 jobs which are available, and there is demand of jobs. Because there is demand of jobs, the laborers or the white collar laborers, the blue collar laborers, they are few. The prices have escalated because money has expanded in the market, and because there has been an expansion. Are you guys receiving me? And because there has been an expansion in the market, American market, so people are asking for services and everything is costly there. That is the difference here, right? So the underlying strength of the economy is completely different. America's market is far more bigger, and it is 10 times as bigger. The GDP of America is 10 times bigger, and the GDP per capita is 30 times bigger. So they are far more stable than what we are. This is one thing to note. Unemployment is very low in America right now. Unemployment is very high in India right now. Inflation are at the same levels, right? The cause of inflation is different in both the countries. Both of them are going through the supply side and demand side. Yes, the whole world is affected by demand side inflation because of the war, because of COVID issues, because of supply side constraints. Both of them are existent, but the palda hai na, the seesaw balance is more towards supply side in India and more towards demand side in America. That is the difference, right? So America is at one of the best positions to be suited. I remember very clearly having covered the fact that IMF has said that America's economy and developed economies are very resilient. They will come back to pre-COVID levels, and this is where America is positioned, right? It will come back. By the end of 2022, it will come back. But if you see in this map, this is very small to view at. But if you see the position of India, India is at a position where India's economy is deeply hurt because of COVID. An emerging market like India, RBI report itself has said, it will take 13 years for us to come back to pre-COVID times, right? So this is what is the indication here. This is what you should remember, right? Supply side, so demand push and cost push inflation, right? Both are different. That is the situation. So there are a lot of differences in both the economies, right? Okay, unemployment at high in India, vacancies of job in America, and India sees a lot of unemployments, demand supply mismatches there. And so the reason why Central Bank of America's chief says, Jeremy Powell says that we are imposing this kind of policy so that there is lesser inflation in the market, so that lesser jobs are there in the market. The growth should not spurt so much. That is genuinely heated economy. I'm not saying this. Experts are saying this. Genuinely heated economy. What is happening with us is not genuinely heated economy. We are going through stagnation in production and demand, and inflation in prices in the market. So leads to stagflation. So huge difference in situation, although both of them are at high inflation levels. All right. So this is the update from here. America market offering huge finances money if you want to be there, and so you can look at translocating yourself from India to America if you get a visa. Good evening to everybody else. Yasha, welcome back, Kim. Okay. The second one is virtual private network rules. Third in, if you know of this organization, Computer Emergency Response Team of India, they have said that for any virtual private network that we are using, any individual that is using this network, that network will have to store 5 years of data of that individual. 5 years. Now, let's understand a little about VPN. Virtual private network. Whenever we want to surf internet, we each of us through our internet have got some IP addresses. Each of us have got some IP addresses with ourselves, right? With every device that we are using. And this IP address is the one which is identifier for who we are. And once we have to access any service from this device, it will be known in the servers that this is the device which has accessed this information, be it Facebook, be it accessing YouTube, be it communicating with a friend online, right? And in case one has committed some activities, some nefarious activities, some terrorist activities, some posting something nasty online, so police is able to locate the individual with the help of their IP address. And that's why if you would have ever been to a cyber cafe, it used to exist in my times, cyber cafe owner would definitely take an iCard of the person and note down the PC in which the person is sitting. So now what VPNs do, virtual private networks do, is that in an open setup itself, in a completely open setup, my ID, my IP will be masked. It will not be revealed in public. Yet my communication will reach the endpoint, and they will be bi-directional communication as well. As simple as this. There will be a virtual private network between the office people, from the headquarters to the branch to the home user to their mobile phone. This will be all virtual private network, and the internet will not be able to know what is my IP address, and this will be completely private, right? This will be completely private. And who provides this service? There are service providers. They will install a device on our computer and they will provide us this kind of service. Now, in these cases where everything is happening all right, it's fine, but then there are many cases in which people are participating in playing games. PUBG is a game we play, many of us play with the help of VPN, and they are banned in the country. So the country, India as a country, will not be able to know if I have accessed PUBG from Indian IP address. Nobody will come to know. I will still be able to play the game. We are evading the government scanner. And not only this PUBG game, this is about many other illegal activities happening online. So for example, if anti-social elements keep threatening somebody or the other, if there are cyber criminals indulging in some activities, nefarious activities online, what happens to that? Earlier they were doing it on VPN, and now government bans it. Government says that you do VPN activities, no problem. The VPN network will take all your data for 5 years, and in case it is required, we will be getting it. Now, many VPN service providers have been providing this kind of activity of masking the IP address, and we pay for it, and there is no activity, there is no data being stored by us. But no more, now this will be illegal in our country. Now, one concern raised here is the fact that in case people do this activity, which VPNs do this activity, that is storing our IP address and all our details like our physical address, all the IP that we are using, our email IDs, phone number. In case they do this, people who are doing this kind of activity will be pushed towards the dark web and the deep web, and locating people from this kind of web, dark and deep web, will further be tough. 96% of all the internet activities happens in dark and deep web. All right, so beyond the scanner of the government. All right, and this actually government, in a way it says that they also want to locate those people who are into press, who are into those kind of activities, who want to hide their footprint, internet footprint. What kind of activities? For example, criticizing government, all that kind of thing. You understand that now, right? Okay. So this is the update. The third one is insurance schemes. These three insurance schemes were introduced by the Prime Minister in the year 2015. Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima. 2 minutes I'll cover all these three, so keep your ears open. Suraksha Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, and Pension Yojana. See, insurance is a very important component of our lives, and we don't understand it because in India there has been lesser finances, lesser ecosystem for insurance. But now no more. Government is also thrusting insurance for everybody, social security nets, especially for the poor. So Suraksha Bima Yojana is Suraksha against what? Accidental insurance. Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti, life insurance, and Pension Yojana for old age. Okay, so these three schemes have got different premiums, different amounts to be paid by the individual person, and different kind of securities will be provided. So Suraksha Bima, in case of accidental insurance, in case of any accident in an informal employment, the person goes through an accident, they will be provided some insurance of finances. So 2 lakh rupees of insurance in case of permanent disability of bigger nature. 1 lakh of rupee to be provided in case of some different kind of disability. Then 50,000 rupees to be provided in case of minor disability or some kind of issues, right? So this is Suraksha Bima. For this, the person will have to keep paying premium. Premium is the amount that the people pay, and this is a very minor amount. This is for Suraksha Bima, it is 12 rupees. And from 18 to 70, 18 years to 70 years of age until you are working, you can go for this insurance scheme. In Suraksha Bima Yojana, pay 12 rupees per annum and avail 2 lakh rupees in case of permanent disability, in case of death also. Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, this is life insurance. So life insurance, you provide a small premium of around 330 rupees per annum, and your life will be, in case one dies, then 2 lakh rupees of amount will be paid to the family, kith and kin. Atal Pension Yojana. All right, for Jeevan Jyoti, the scheme is for 18 to 50 years of age. Okay, 18 to 50. And for Atal Pension Yojana, the scheme is from 18 to 40 until you are 40, and after 18 years of age, if you are especially from the marginalized sections, apply for a scheme like this, and you will be able to receive a pension of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, depending on how much premium you have paid. All right. So age bracket is different, name of the schemes are different, but very much related. All right, these are the 3 schemes. Okay, what is the best part about these schemes is that there has been more registration of females under these schemes, especially the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. So 41% enrollments are of women members and 61% claim beneficiaries are women themselves. In Jeevan Jyoti as well, 40% enrollments are women members and 60% claim beneficiaries are women members. Great. Enrollment of women members in Pension Yojana has shown a steady increase from 37 to 43%. So here is the output for you, 7 years of performance. Next one is Interstate Arrest. This was a case very much in limelight in Delhi because of one individual. We will not name political party, we will not name the individual. Just what happened was, this person, ex-person, threatens another person, right? And Punjab government wants to interrogate this ex-person in Delhi, right? In Delhi. And this person doesn't come up to Punjab police. So they dispatch one order and they send a police party to get this person back to Punjab and investigate what has been the threat that this person has given to another person, right? So Punjab police comes via Haryana to Delhi and they take this person in the vehicle and they are on the way back. So they apprehend the person. This is phase number 1, right? That is when Delhi police says that this person has been kidnapped by Punjab police. All right. And then the Haryana police is also intimated, and Haryana police intercepts the vehicle and then takes the person back into their custody and brings that person back to Delhi. This is the issue. Now, this is where we should understand what is the interstate, what is the ruling on interstate arrest. Is there a court order? Is there a government ruling on this, or is there some criminal procedure code about interstate arrest? We must understand that police is a state subject. It is not a central subject. So ideally, the law is meant in a way that the person who has been apprehended should be in the same state, should be apprehended in the same state, and they should be produced to the nearest magistrate in the same state. However, in certain cases, the person needs to go beyond that state because of investigation, CBI inquiries, etc., etc., etc. Crimes committed in a different state, and now you are in a different state. That's the reason. So this is where we have to understand what has been the intent. Intent of the law has been that the criminal in a particular state must be arrested by the police of that state only, and execution of a warrant should be issued by competent authority, competent court. So when the arrest is made, either it has to be with warrant of the court. It can be done through this in case it is an interstate arrest. In case this is not through the warrant of court, that also is possible, provided some procedures are followed. Some procedures have some gray areas. People do not understand. CRPC is not clear, but let's discuss each of them. So CRPC Section 48 says that powers are provided, and how it writes the powers is something like this. A police officer may, for the purpose of arresting without warrant any person whom he is authorized to arrest, pursue such person into place of India. Pursue. There is a confusion over the word pursue. Can they physically go chase a person in another state, or coordinate with other states and ask for this thing to happen, right? So can they physically chase the person in a different state, or will they have to coordinate with other state? This is where High Court ruling also says something. Delhi High Court, it says very simply that in case you want to pursue a case like this, you got to put this in your note, diary entry. Daily diary entry of police officers must contain that the person is in a different state and I will have to go and fetch them. They must seek orders from their superior. They must inform the other state where they are leading into. They must inform the SHO of local area about that particular person they are going to apprehend and take back. So all these things are required not only as a confidence building measure, but also informing the local police authority because their jurisdictions are mapped, right? So this is the procedure for this. And there have been various arrests like this. There have been arrest of an individual in Delhi because they had passed something in Karnataka. There was an arrest of another individual, Jignesh Mewani, if you've heard, right, because of social media post, and then arrested in Assam. Similarly, there have been other arrests, so you must know what are the procedures. See, we will not want to become a political here. All we will want to understand is what is the government procedure. So procedure is under CRPC, right, Criminal Procedure Code. In case the person wants to, there's one more thing. There's one more thing, that is the Article 22 clearly says, Article 22 of the Constitution clearly says that the person after the arrest should be made available to the nearest magistrate within 24 hours. Within 24 hours. And in case they're not being able to made present at the nearest magistrate, then the police also will have to let the magistrate know what was the cause of this. And this excludes the time of travel, excludes, right? So in case a person has to travel long distance, then why not seek a permission from judiciary itself? So nearest judicial magistrate in Delhi, ask them for a transit remand, so that there is no hassle while transiting of this individual. Take them 24 hours, 48 hours ride. All right, this is the update. All right, what is the next one? Next one is La Nina. La Nina. Now, La Nina, also called as El Nino Southern Oscillation. Is there a relation of La Nina with the heat waves in India? Yes, there is certainly some relation. This is what the experts draw again. See, heat waves and why such extreme nature in India, attributing it to climate change is a broader context, absolutely. But two reasons being given. One reason is certainly the one that is associated with western disturbances. They have become weaker this year, okay? Had there been showers in January, February, March, April, we would have felt far more comfortable. And the second one is La Nina. See, going through a La Nina condition, it intensifies and it provides greater relief. You see, El Nino is associated with low monsoons, but La Nina is associated with either very high monsoons or very low monsoons. So La Nina development this year has not been as strong. And because of, see, if the Indian subcontinent needs to be at certain optimal temperature so that it can attract the western disturbances very strongly. And because of the La Nina conditions not developing that intensely to be able to attract the western disturbances, the rainfall has not been optimal here, right? During La Nina winters, a north-south pressure pattern sets over India, okay? And normally this influences the trade winds that bring rain into India. It influences the trade winds that brings rain to India, the southwest monsoon. However, because La Nina didn't peak in India, the sea surface temperatures continued to be cold. They continued to be cold, and this drove the hot westerly winds and blast of hot air from Middle East. Okay, so not driving in the conditions of western disturbances, La Nina influencing the present issues. This one again related to the same hot weather conditions. We had also discussed one editorial on Saturday related to the issue of heat waves impacting the specific population of the country. 1/3 of the population which is indulged in economic activities in India, they are into agriculture, industrial activities, or manufacturing activities, or construction activities. This is all in open, right? Midday sun. So 1/3 of India goes through this kind of turmoil. Over and above, humidity is one cause which is also impacting this. Remember this wet bulb temperature. We have discussed this. There has been a recent finding that wet bulb temperature, which is indicative of the humidity level at that place. What is a wet bulb? If this is a thermometer, the bulb of the thermometer, the older ones, not the digital ones, that bulb, if you're putting a wet cotton on it and you are understanding what is the temperature rise, right, at that particular place. If it is a wet bulb temperature, which is recorded at 35 degrees Celsius, this situation is really deadly for an individual. Now, what actually happens is whenever the body temperature heats up, we start sweating, and sweating is a natural way to cool down the surface of the body. But in case there is high humidity, which is also indicated through wet bulb temperature, right, in that case, the sweating also will not happen as well, and the body will not receive comfort. So if you can see on this image on the side, it very clearly says that if the person is going through a wet bulb temperature, right, this one, the lower one, 35 degree temperature will be very severe. 35 degree temperature will be very severe for a person. But when it is a dry bulb temperature, then even exceeding 40 degrees Celsius of the temperature will be fine. But then wet bulb temperature, 35 degrees Celsius, not more than that. So a condition of extreme discomfort will be there. Humans lose heat generated within their body by producing sweat that evaporates on the skin. The cooling effect of this evaporation is essential in maintaining stable body temperature. Okay. As humidity rises, sweat does not evaporate. Yes, as humidity rises, sweat does not evaporate. Just like clothes take long time to dry in humid locations and makes it difficult to regulate body temperature. This is why we feel more discomfort in humid places. So in humid places, the regulation of body temperature will not happen properly because there will be lesser evaporation from the body. Okay. So this was also news you must understand. Today's case of the day is on weightlifting. This girl has age 18 years from a small place around Pune. She has won the junior championship of weightlifting, lifted 153 kilos of weight under 49 kilo category. 49 kilo means she is of 49 kilos. 153 kilo of weight is what she lifted and got gold medal at Greece for the country. And what is the most interesting part is how she grew up during difficult circumstances. There was a time when she was asked to pick up a rice bag, I think it was rice or wheat bag of 50 kilos, and she lifted it up. And then she lifted another one and then another one. And that's when she gained this habit. This was at the age of 12 years to be able to heavy lift items, 12 years. And 6 years down the line, you see her winning gold medals for the country. So you toil through the tough times and then you see what builds you up. All right. Let me look at the questions. And if you like this initiative, shower some love through likes, comments and shares. We will meet in the feature news for today. Our feature news for today is on the CRS report, that is the Civil Registration System report, which is about the death and birth of individuals in the country, right? Okay, let's see. Kim, jab jago tabhi savera, no worries. Good evening, Tiyasha, Kim, both of you. Amlan, sir, Sampan project is a part of Atal Pension Yojana. See, many states, what they do is that they tend to modify the name of the scheme, right? The center, when the center has started a scheme under central sector initiative, no changes can be done. But if it is a centrally sponsored scheme, the states modify the name and then they top it all with some icing on the cake. They might provide some premium, a part of that premium, right? Or some other things. So let me come back to you on what is the name of this Sampan project, whether it is a part of state specific project or not. I have less recollection of this, but I will certainly get back to you on this. All right. So let's see you in the current affairs video and on the feature news video for civil registration system today. All right. Thank you for participation. See you all in the other video.